CEO finds his school friend sleeping on the street and changes her life. Michael Peterson stopped abruptly when he recognized that face. His legs trembled and the air seemed to leave his lungs. There was Jennifer, his best friend from school, sleeping on a bench in Freedom Park with two small children clinging to her. The shock was so great that he had to lean against the nearest lamppost. Jennifer Wilson, the same girl who always shared her lunch when he didn't have money to buy his own, who stood up to the bigger bullies for him, who dreamed of becoming a teacher. Now she was there, wearing worn-out, dirty clothes, with two children who couldn't have been more than 6 and 4 years old. Michael approached slowly, trying to process what he was seeing. He had left work early that December Friday to take care of some personal errands when he decided to cut through the park. The 42-year-old businessman, owner of one of the largest construction companies in Denver, never imagined he'd find his childhood friend in such a state. The children looked cold despite the year-end warmth in Colorado. They were too thin, their faces pale, their clothes too big for their small frames. Michael noticed the older girl had her eyes open but was pretending to sleep. She watched him warily, instinctively shielding her younger brother. "Jennifer," he whispered, crouching beside the bench. The woman startled awake, frightened. Her hair was disheveled, and deep exhaustion marked her face. For a moment she didn't recognize him and tried to stand quickly, clutching the children tightly. "Don't worry, we won't bother anyone," she said hoarsely, reaching for a plastic bag on the ground. "Jen, it's me, Michael. Don't you recognize me?" She froze and stared at him. Her eyes filled with tears when she finally recognized him. "Mike?" she asked, her voice breaking, using the nickname only she had called him in school. "It's really me, Jen. What happened? Why are you here?" Jennifer began to sob desperately, still holding the children. The older girl stood and wrapped her arm around her mother, trying to comfort her. "Don't cry, Mommy. Remember what you said. Everything will be okay," the little girl said with a maturity she shouldn't have had. Michael's heart ached at the sight. The child was caring for her mother when it should have been the other way around. "I'm sorry, Mike. I didn't want you to see me like this," Jennifer managed between sobs. "You don't have to apologize. Let's get out of here. I'll take you all to lunch and you can tell me what happened. I can't accept I'm already enough of a burden." "Jen, you were never a burden to anyone. You saved me so many times in school, remember? Now let me help you." The children looked at Michael with a mix of hope and fear. The younger boy, no more than 4, clutched a tattered stuffed bear. "Mommy, I'm hungry," he whispered. The words stabbed Michael's heart. He reached out to Jennifer. "Please let me help. At least the kids need a decent meal." Dear listener, if you're enjoying the story, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. It really helps us who are just starting out. Now back to the story. Jennifer hesitated for a few seconds, but seeing her children's hungry faces, she took his hand. Michael helped her up and grabbed the plastic bag holding all the family's belongings. "What are their names?" he asked, smiling at the children. "This is Emily," Jennifer said, pointing to the older girl. "And this is Ethan." "Hi, Emily." "Hi, Ethan. I'm Michael, a very old friend of your mum's." Emily remained suspicious, but Ethan hid behind his mother. "Is he mean?" the boy asked. "No, sweetheart. He's a good person," Jennifer replied, running her hand through her son's hair. Michael took them to a simple diner nearby. He didn't want to intimidate the children further by taking them somewhere too fancy. Along the way, he noticed Jennifer limping slightly on her right leg. "Did you hurt yourself?" he asked, concerned. "It's just an old issue, nothing serious." At the diner, the children ate with a heartbreaking hunger. Michael ordered generous portions and watched as they devoured every bite as if it were their last meal. "How long has it been since you ate properly?" he whispered to Jennifer. "About 3 days. I got some money selling bracelets I make, but it was only enough for milk for them." "And you? When was the last time you ate?" Jennifer didn't answer, but Michael understood from her silence. "Jen, what happened? Why are you on the streets?" She took a deep breath before speaking. "Jason left me 6 months ago. Said he couldn't handle the hard life anymore, that he wanted better opportunities. A week later, I found out he'd been with another woman for over a year. And the house? It was in his name. When he left, he stopped paying the bills. I lost my job at the school because I was always late or absent. I had no one to watch the kids. I tried a few jobs, but no one wants to hire a single mom with 2 young children. Do you have family? My parents died in an accident when Emily was 2. Jason's family never really accepted me. When he left, they blamed me for everything. Michael felt anger rising inside him. How could someone abandon their own family like that? And now? Where have you been sleeping? In the park when it doesn't rain. When it rains, we try to find somewhere covered. Emily's already had pneumonia twice because of it. The little girl looked up from her plate when she heard her name. I don't like when it rains, Mommy. I get so cold. I know, sweetheart. Mommy's trying to find us a better place. Michael couldn't take it anymore. You're coming with me now. I'll find you a place to stay. I can't accept that, Mike. You've already helped so much. Jen, you saved my life in school more times than I can count. Remember when Brian Johnson wanted to beat me up because I got a better grade on the math test? You stepped in and took a shove so I wouldn't get punched. That was over 20 years ago. We were kids. And you think I forgot? You were always brave, always stood up for those who needed it. Now it's my turn to stand up for you. Jennifer began to cry again. I don't want to be a burden on your life. You must have your own family, your responsibilities. My family will understand. And if they don't, that's their problem. Truthfully, Michael was already imagining how hard it would be to explain this to Rebecca, his wife. They'd been married 15 years, but their relationship had been strained lately. Rebecca had always been jealous and possessive. Uncle Michael, Mommy makes really pretty bracelets, Emily said, speaking for the first time. Oh yeah, can you show me? Jennifer opened her plastic bag and pulled out a few bracelets made with colorful beads. The work was truly beautiful and delicate. Wow, these are amazing, Jen. You've always been good with crafts. It's all I can do to earn a little money. I sell them on the street, but it doesn't bring in much. How much do you make a day? On good days, maybe $15, $20. On bad days, nothing. Michael took out his wallet and pulled out some bills. I want to buy all the bracelets you have. Mike, you don't have to do this. It's not charity, Jen. It's business. These bracelets are beautiful, and I'm sure many people would love to buy them. He placed $300 on the table. Jennifer looked at the money as if it were a treasure. It's too much, Mike. It's a fair price for the work. You're talented, always have been. After lunch, Michael took the family to a simple but clean hotel near downtown. I'll pay for a week up front. That'll give us time to figure out a better solution. Why are you doing this? Jennifer asked, while the kids explored the small but cozy room. Because you do the same for me. In fact, you already have many times. I can't pay you back. I don't want you to. I want you and the kids to be okay. That night, Michael came home lost in thought. Rebecca was in the living room watching TV when he walked in. You're late today, she remarked without taking her eyes off the screen. Had some things to take care of. What things? Michael hesitated. He knew his wife well enough to realize this conversation wouldn't be easy. I ran into an old school friend today. She's going through a rough time. Rebecca finally looked at him. What friend? Jennifer Wilson. We went to elementary school together. And what kind of rough time? She's unemployed with 2 young kids. Her husband walked out on them. And what does that have to do with you? She was a great friend, Rebecca. Helped me a lot when we were kids. So you want to help her now? I already started. Paid for a hotel so she and the kids could stay a few days. Rebecca turned off the TV and faced him fully. You did what? It was the least I could do. They were sleeping in the park, Becky. Since when are you a social worker? It's not like that. It's basic humanity. Humanity? Michael, you barely know this woman. How many years has it been since you last saw her? Over 20, but that doesn't matter. Of course it matters. You have no idea who she's become, what she's like now. And now you're going to support her and her kids? I'm not supporting anyone. I'm helping her get back on her feet. Oh, I see. You're playing the hero. Why are you being sarcastic? Because I know you, Michael. You always have this urge to save everyone. Remember Dominic? Dominic was a former employee Michael had helped repeatedly until he found out he was embezzling money. This is different. Different because she's a pretty woman? That has nothing to do with it. It has everything to do with it. Do you think I'm stupid? The argument dragged on into the early hours. Rebecca made it clear she didn't approve of the help and thought Michael was being taken advantage of. He tried explaining, but she wouldn't listen. The next day, Saturday, Michael went to visit Jennifer and the kids at the hotel. He found them having breakfast in the small diner on the first floor. How was the night? Amazing, Emily replied with a huge smile. We slept in a real bed. And had hot showers, Ethan added. They couldn't stop talking about the room, Jennifer said. Thank you, Mike. No need. How are you feeling? Better. Got a proper night's sleep for the first time in months. Michael noticed she looked like a different person. A shower and decent rest had worked wonders. Jen, I've been thinking, how about you come work for my company? Your company? I own a construction business, always need good people. Mike, I don't know anything about construction. But you know administration. I remember you were always great with numbers and organization. That was in school. Didn't you go to college? Started education, but had to drop out when I got pregnant with Emily. Jason said I didn't need to, that he'd take care of us. Well, you've got the basics. I can put you in the admin department, you'd pick it up fast. Jennifer fell silent for a few minutes. Would you really do that? Of course I would. And your wife? Wouldn't she mind? Michael hesitated before answering. She'll understand it's the right thing to do. Truthfully, he wasn't sure about anything. The argument from the night before still echoed in his mind. Mike, I don't want to cause trouble in your life. You're not causing any trouble. You're giving me the chance to repay everything you did for me. When I was a kid, I didn't realize helping you would mean so much. It meant everything, Jen, you never knew, but I was going through a really tough time at home. My parents fought all the time. My dad drank too much. At school, you were the only person who treated me well. I didn't know that. No one did, I hid it well. But you always noticed when I was sad and found a way to cheer me up. Jennifer smiled for the first time since they'd reunited. Remember that day you brought that huge sandwich to school? I do. My mom had made too much and I asked to share it with you. It wasn't because she'd made too much. You knew I didn't have lunch that day because my dad had spent the grocery money on alcohol. How do you know? Because it happened every Monday. And every Monday you showed up with an extra snack to share with me. Jennifer felt her eyes welling up. You've always been so smart, and you've always been so kind. Dear listener, if you're enjoying the story, don't forget to like and especially subscribe to the channel. It helps us a lot as we're just starting out. Now back to the story. On Monday, Michael took Jennifer to the headquarters of Peterson Construction. It was a modern 10-story building in downtown Denver. Jennifer was impressed by the size and sophistication of the place. Wow, Mike, you built all this? With a lot of hard work and some good partners. Started small and grew over the years. In the elevator, he explained how the company worked. We have about 300 employees. We mostly build residential and commercial properties. We also have a renovation division. That's a lot of responsibility. Yeah, but I love what I do. They stopped on the 8th floor where the HR department was located. Michael wanted to introduce Jennifer to the department director, Karen Mitchell, who happened to be Rebecca's sister-in-law. Karen, I'd like to introduce a candidate for the administrative assistant position. Karen, a serious-looking woman in her 50s, eyed Jennifer up and down with disapproval. Does she have experience in the field? She has basic knowledge and a strong willingness to learn. Mr. Peterson, you know we have hiring procedures. We can't just... I know the procedures, Karen. That's why I'm bringing her here to go through the normal process. I see. Karen turned to Jennifer. What's your full name? Jennifer Wilson Taylor. Education? High school diploma. I started studying education but didn't finish. Work experience? I worked as a teacher's aide at a daycare for 3 years. Then I was a substitute teacher at a public school for 2 years. Why did you leave? Jennifer hesitated, feeling the weight of Karen's judgmental gaze. I had some personal issues. What kind of issues? Michael noticed Jennifer's discomfort and stepped in. Karen, that's not relevant to the position. With all due respect, Mr. Peterson, it is relevant. We need to know if the candidate is reliable. She is reliable. I can personally vouch for her. Even so, we have protocols. Karen continued asking increasingly uncomfortable questions. She wanted to know about Jennifer's financial situation, about her children's father, about where she was living. Right now, I'm between homes, Jennifer answered, trying to maintain her dignity. Between homes? What exactly does that mean? It means she's looking for a better place to live, interrupted Michael, noticing the humiliation Jennifer was going through. Mr. Peterson, I need to speak with you privately. They left the room, leaving Jennifer waiting. What is this, Karen? That woman isn't a good fit to work here. Why? It's obvious she has problems. She's probably a drug user or worse. How can you say that? You don't even know her. I know the type. Sloppy appearance, questionable financial situation, a messy backstory. We can't have someone like that interacting with our clients. Her appearance can easily be improved, and she's not a drug user. How can you be so sure? Because I've known her since she was a child. That was over 20 years ago, Mr. Peterson. People change. Some people change for the better, Karen, and some people judge others without knowing them. I'm not judging anyone, I'm protecting the company. The company doesn't need protection from honest people who want to work. Mr. Peterson, can I speak frankly with you? Go ahead. Your wife mentioned this situation. She's concerned about your motivations. Michael felt his blood boil. My motivations are to help someone in need who deserves a chance. Of course. But you need to understand this could be misinterpreted. By whom? By the employees, the clients, your family. If anyone wants to misinterpret an act of kindness, that's their problem. Mr. Peterson, I can't hire this woman. It would be irresponsible of me. Why? She answered all the questions, has experience with children, is organized. She isn't qualified for the position. What specific qualification is she missing? Karen hesitated for a few seconds. She doesn't fit the company's profile. And what is the company's profile, Karen? You know very well. No, I don't. Explain to me what profile excludes an honest, hard-working person. Mr. Peterson, I won't argue about this. My decision is final. Then I'll make mine too. You're fired. Karen was stunned. You can't fire me. I'm married to your wife's brother. I can fire any employee who isn't aligned with the company's values, and discrimination isn't one of them. This isn't discrimination. It's common sense. Yes, it is discrimination, and I won't tolerate it in my company. Michael returned to the room where Jennifer was waiting. Sorry for the delay, Jen. Karen won't be working here anymore. You're hired. What? What happened? Nothing major. Just some differences in opinion about company values. Mike, I don't want you to have problems because of me. I'm not having problems, I'm solving them. But Michael knew the problems were just beginning. Firing his wife's sister-in-law would have consequences he couldn't yet imagine. That afternoon, Rebecca stormed into the company. She barged into Michael's office without knocking. You fired Karen. I did. Because of that woman? Because of discrimination. Discrimination. Michael, Karen was protecting the company. Karen was being prejudiced, and you decided to hire some beggar to work here? I decided to hire a qualified person going through a rough time. Qualified? She doesn't even have a college degree. Not every capable person has a diploma. This is insane, Michael. You fired my sister-in-law to hire a stranger. She's not a stranger. And I fired your sister-in-law because she couldn't separate prejudice from professional judgment. Do you know what my brother will think about this? Frankly, I don't care. You should care. He's your business partner. A minority partner. Even so, Michael, you're messing with family. I'm dealing with justice here. Rebecca approached his desk. What's so special about this woman? She has character, something that's been in short supply around here. Character? A woman who was sleeping on the streets? A woman who was sleeping on the streets because her husband abandoned her and she never got a chance. That doesn't diminish her character. Are you in love with her? The question caught Michael off guard. What? You heard me just fine. Are you in love with this Jennifer? Don't be ridiculous, Rebecca. Ridiculous? You fire my sister-in-law, hire some homeless woman, and I'm the one being ridiculous? You're being prejudiced and jealous. Jealous? Do I have any reason to be jealous? No. You have no reason for anything. I'm helping an old childhood friend, that's all. A friend you hadn't seen in over 20 years who's suddenly your priority. She's not my priority. She's just someone who needs help. And why does it have to be you helping her? Because I can. And because she helped me a lot once. When you were kids. Yes, when we were kids. But help is help, no matter how long ago. Rebecca fell silent for a moment, studying her husband. You've changed, Michael. How so? You've been different since you found this woman. I'm the same. No, you're not. You're more... I don't know how to explain it. More alive. Maybe I'm just more aware of my social responsibilities. Social responsibilities? Since when do you care about that? I always have. No, you haven't. You've always been focused on business, money, success. I've never seen you care about people in need. Michael grew thoughtful. Rebecca was right. He really had changed since finding Jennifer, but he couldn't quite explain how. Maybe I'm just growing up. Or maybe you're having a midlife crisis. I'm not having any crisis. Then explain why you've suddenly turned into St. Francis of Assisi. I haven't turned into any saint. I'm just doing what any decent person should do. Any decent person. So I'm not decent because I don't approve of this madness? I didn't say that. That's how it sounded. The argument went on for another hour. Rebecca stormed out of the office, threatening to tell her brother everything and warning there'd be consequences. Michael was left alone, thinking about what had just happened. Was Rebecca right? Was he changing too much? Or was he finally becoming the person he was always meant to be? The next day, Jennifer started working at the company. Michael placed her in the finance department, directly supervised by him. He wanted to make sure she'd be treated well. You'll be handling accounts payable and receivable. It's basic work, but important. I'll do my best to learn fast. I know you will. You've always been a quick study. Jennifer adapted quickly. Within days, she'd mastered the system and was suggesting improvements. Michael was impressed by how fast she learned. Jen, are you sure you don't want to go back to school? What do you mean? Finish your degree. You have so much potential. I don't have the time or money for that, Mike. What if I paid for it? I can't accept that. Why not? Because you've already done too much for me. Or because I haven't done enough yet. Jennifer stopped typing and looked at him. Mike, why are you doing all this? I've already told you. No, you haven't. Not really. Michael sat in the chair across from her desk. Jen, when we were kids, you were the only one who ever believed in me. Everyone else saw me as the poor boy, the drunk son, who'd probably never amount to anything. That's not true. Yes, it is. You know it is. But you always treated me like I was special, like I could do anything. Because you were special. He could achieve anything. You planted that seed in me, Jen. Everything I've accomplished in life started with the trust you placed in me. You would have made it anyway. No, without you, I probably would have given up. How many times did you encourage me to study? How many times did you tell me I was smart when everyone else called me dumb? You were never dumb. No, but it took me a long time to realize that, and I only did because you always told me. Jennifer felt her eyes well up. I just saw what was already there. Then let me return the favor by seeing what's in you now. You have talent, intelligence, determination. You just need opportunities. Opportunities are expensive. Not all of them. And some are investments, not costs. Meanwhile, Richard Mitchell, Rebecca's brother and a minority partner in the company, began spreading rumors among the employees. He claimed Michael was embezzling money from the company to support a mistress. Did you see how he suddenly showed up with this woman out of nowhere? He commented to some managers. He fired my wife to hire her. That's not normal. But she seems to work well, said one of the managers. Of course she seems to. She has to pretend to work well to justify the salary she must be getting. How much does she make? I'm not sure, but I bet it's more than she should. The rumors spread quickly through the company. Some employees began looking at Jennifer with suspicion. She noticed the change in how she was treated, but didn't understand why. "Mike, did something happen?" she asked one Friday. "Why? People are treating me differently, kind of strange." Michael sighed. He knew this would happen. "Some people love gossip, Jen. Don't pay attention to it." "What kind of gossip?" "Nonsense. They say we're having an affair." Jennifer turned red. "An affair? But that's ridiculous." "I know it's ridiculous. You know it's ridiculous, but some people need to make up stories to entertain themselves." "And your wife? Does she know about these rumors?" "She does, and she doesn't believe them." In truth, Michael wasn't sure whether Rebecca believed them or not. She had grown more distant in recent weeks, but hadn't brought up the subject again. "Maybe it's better if I look for another job," said Jennifer. "Absolutely not. You're not leaving because of gossip. But this could hurt you. Jen, anyone who knows me knows what kind of person I am. And those who don't, their opinion doesn't matter. Your wife knows you. She does. And she's okay with all this." Michael hesitated before answering. "She understands I'm doing the right thing." But the truth was, the situation at home was growing increasingly tense. Rebecca barely spoke to him, and when she did, it was to make sarcastic remarks about his new employee. At the end of that week, Ethan, Jennifer's youngest son, fell ill at daycare. She had to rush out of work to take him to the hospital. "What's wrong with him?" asked Michael, who insisted on going with her. "The doctors don't know yet. It could be something he ate, or it could be what?" "He's had a kidney issue since birth. It's controlled with medication, but sometimes there are complications." "Why didn't you tell me this before?" "I didn't want to worry you, and I didn't want it to seem like I was trying to get special treatment." "Jen, kids' health isn't about favors. It's a priority." At the public hospital, they had to wait 3 hours to be seen. Ethan was pale and in pain. Emily, who had picked him up from school, was scared. "Mom, is Ethan going to be okay?" she asked. "Yes, sweetheart. The doctors will take care of him." "How do you know?" "Because I do. Mums always know." Michael watched the strength Jennifer showed in front of the kids, but noticed how worried she really was. He stood up and went to talk to the receptionist. "I'd like to transfer the child to a private hospital. Sir, the boy is already being treated here." "I know, but I want him to have the best possible care. I'll see what I can do." Within half an hour, Ethan was being transferred to one of the best private hospitals in the city. There, he was immediately seen by a pediatric nephrologist. "His left kidney is inflamed," the doctor explained. "We'll need to run some tests to assess the extent of the problem." "Is it serious?" asked Jennifer. "Let's wait for the test results." "But he's stable." The tests showed that Ethan would need a long and expensive treatment. The nephrologist explained he'd require dialysis sessions twice a week until a compatible donor for a transplant could be found. "How much will all this cost?" Jennifer asked, already knowing she couldn't afford it. "Don't worry about that now," said Michael. "How can I not worry? I don't have health insurance, I don't have the money." "Jen, I'll take care of everything." "You can't do that. You've already done too much." "I haven't done anything excessive, just what anyone should do." "This isn't normal, Mike. Paying for the hospital, treatment, this costs a fortune." "So what do you suggest? That we leave Ethan without treatment?" "No, but what?" "Jen, money exists to be spent on important things, and there's nothing more important than a child's life." Jennifer began to cry. "I don't know how I'll ever repay you for all this." "You won't repay me. You'll take good care of your children and let them grow up healthy. That's all I want in return." That night, Michael came home later than usual. Rebecca was waiting in the living room. "I heard you took her family to Mercy General Hospital." "I did. The boy was sick." "And you paid for everything, I assume?" "I did." "Do you know how much the treatment will cost?" "I don't care about the cost." "You should. It's our money." "It's my money, Rebecca. Ours. We're married with shared assets. And I decide how to spend the money I earn from my work. Not all of it, and not like this." "Like what?" "Bankrolling a stranger's whims." "Whims? A sick child's treatment is a whim?" It's not our responsibility. It's my responsibility if I decide it is. Michael, you're losing touch with reality. I'm finding reality. I'm realizing what truly matters in life. What truly matters is taking care of your own family first. And that's what I'm doing. Taking care of her, not me. How am I not taking care of you? Are you lacking anything? I'm lacking attention, consideration, respect. How do I not respect you? You make big decisions without consulting me, spend money without telling me, fire my sister-in-law to hire your little friend. She's not my little friend. Then what is she? Someone I care about. More than you care about me. The question hung in the air for a few seconds. Not more. Different. Different how? Jen represents a part of my life I'd forgotten, a time when things were simpler, more genuine. And with me, things aren't genuine. With you, things are complicated. Complicated why? Because you always want more. More money, more status, more power. With Jen, it's about people, about real feelings. So you're in love with her? No, Becca. I'm not in love with her. I'm in love with the person I become when I'm around her. Dear listener, if you're enjoying the story, please take a moment to like and especially subscribe to the channel. It helps us newcomers a lot. Now, continuing. The conversation ended with Rebecca going to sleep in the guest room. Michael stayed in the living room thinking about what he'd just said. Was he really in love with Jennifer? Or was he just nostalgic for a simpler time in his life? On Monday, when Michael arrived at the company, Richard was in the meeting room with 3 of the top managers. They were reviewing financial documents. "What's going on here?" Michael asked. "We're doing an informal audit," Richard replied. "An audit of what?" "Of the extraordinary expenses from the last few months." "What extraordinary expenses?" "Michael, you spent over $50,000 in 2 weeks. Hospital, hotel, clothes, all in the name of an employee." "So what?" "What do you mean? So what?" "You're using company money for personal reasons." "I'm not using company money. I'm using my own money. Money that should be reinvested in the company or distributed among the partners." "Richard, I'm the majority partner. I have the right to do what I want with my share of the profits. As long as it doesn't jeopardize the company." "How does this jeopardize the company?" "By setting a dangerous precedent. If every employee can expect you to pay for their hospital bills when needed, we'll go bankrupt. Not every employee will need it, and if they do, I'll evaluate it case by case." "That's administrative irresponsibility." "That's social responsibility." "Michael, you need to separate emotions from business, and you need to separate greed from common sense." The meeting ended in a heated argument. Richard made it clear he would question any decision Michael made that he deemed inappropriate. "You'll regret this, Richard," Michael said. "No, Michael. The one who will regret it is you." When Jennifer arrived at work, she sensed something was wrong. The employees looked at her differently, whispering as she passed by. "Mike, we need to talk," she said, entering his office. "Of course, what is it?" "I think I need to leave the company." "Why?" "I'm causing too many problems. Your wife is upset. Your brother-in-law is stirring up trouble. The employees are suspicious. Jen, this will pass." "It won't. It'll only get worse. And in the end, you'll be the one hurt." "Let me worry about that." "I can't let you. You've already done too much for me and the kids. I can't let you lose your company because of us." "I won't lose any company." "You might lose your family." Michael fell silent. Jennifer had touched on the most painful point. "My family will understand." "Your wife doesn't understand, and she has her reasons." "What reasons?" "Mike, be honest with me, and be honest with yourself. What are you feeling for me?" The question caught Michael off guard. "What do you mean?" "You know what I mean." "Jen, Are you helping me out of gratitude or something else?" "Out of gratitude." "Just gratitude." Michael hesitated. "And affection. A lot of affection." "What kind of affection?" "The kind you feel for someone very special." "Mike, I need to tell you something." "What?" "When we were kids, I had a crush on you." "What do you mean?" "I liked you. A lot. More than just as a friend. Jen, let me finish. I liked you so much that I made up excuses to be near you. I shared my lunch not because I noticed you didn't have any, but because I wanted an excuse to talk to you. I didn't know. Of course you didn't. I hid it well, but I always dreamed that one day you'd like me too. And I did. A lot. As a friend. No, Jen, not just as a friend. What? I liked you too. A lot. But I thought I didn't have a chance. You were the smartest girl in school, the prettiest, the most popular. I wasn't popular. Yes, you were. Everyone liked you, and I was just the poor boy you helped out of pity. It was never pity, Mike, never. They stared at each other in silence for a moment. And now? He asked. Now we're adults. You're married. I have 2 kids, and a lot has changed. Not everything has changed. What hasn't? What I feel when I'm near you. And what do you feel? That I'm a better person. That the world makes more sense. That there's something beyond money and success. Mike, Jen, I'm not trying to cause trouble for anyone. I'm just being honest about how I feel. And I'm being honest when I say I can't stay here knowing my presence is ruining your life. It's not ruining anything. Yes, it is. Your wife can't stand you anymore. Your partner is trying to bring you down. Your employees are suspicious. All because of me. Not because of you. Because of how small-minded other people are. But the result is the same. Jen, answer me one thing. What do you feel for me? She took a long time to respond. I feel gratitude, affection, admiration. Just that? And I feel afraid. Afraid of what? Afraid of ruining your life. Afraid of hurting innocent people. Afraid of letting my feelings take over. What feelings? The same ones I had when I was a kid. Do you still like me? Mike, that doesn't matter. Yes, it does. Why? What will that change? It'll change how I make my decisions from now on. What decisions? Decisions about my life, about my marriage, about my future. You can't base your decisions on me. Why not? Because it wouldn't be fair to anyone. To your wife, to your kids, to myself. And is it fair to keep living a life that doesn't make me happy? Your life made you happy before you met me. No, Jen. My life was just automatic. I woke up, went to work, came home, slept, and did it all over again the next day. It wasn't happiness. It was just existence. And now I wake up wondering if you're okay, if the kids are okay. I come to work wanting to see you, wanting to talk to you. I go home thinking about how I can help you more. For the first time in years, I feel alive. Jennifer started crying. Mike, please stop. Why stop? Because this is hurting me. Hurting you how? It hurts knowing I might be the reason for your separation. It hurts thinking your kids could suffer because of me. I don't have kids, Jen. What do you mean? Rebecca and I tried for years, but she could never get pregnant. Eventually, we stopped trying. You didn't adopt? She didn't want to. Said it wouldn't be the same. And you? I really wanted to be a father, but I respected her decision. So there are no kids involved in your decision? No. But there is a wife, a woman who doesn't deserve to be betrayed. I'm not betraying anyone, Jen. Emotionally, you are. Maybe, but not physically. Emotional betrayal sometimes hurts more than the physical kind. Michael grew thoughtful. What do you think I should do? I think you should have an honest talk with your wife. Tell her how you feel. Listen to what she has to say, and try to work things out like adults. What if she doesn't want to talk? Then you'll know you did your part. What if she wants to save the marriage? Then you'll have to decide if there's still anything left to save. And you? What will you do? I'll leave the company. I'll look for another job. Jen, don't do that. I have to. It's the right thing. The right thing would be for you to stay and for everyone to learn to deal with the situation. The right thing isn't always the easiest to accept. That afternoon, Jennifer stopped by each employee's desk to say goodbye. She said she'd gotten a better opportunity at another company. No one fully believed her, but everyone was polite. Michael spent the rest of the day locked in his office, thinking about what to do. When he got home, he found Rebecca in the kitchen making dinner. "Beck, we need to talk." "About what?" "About us. About our marriage." "What about our marriage?" "I don't know if we still have one." Rebecca stopped stirring her food and turned to him. "What does that mean?" "It means maybe we need to be honest about what's happening between us." "And what is happening?" "We're living like strangers in the same house. And whose fault is that?" "It's not about fault, Becca. It's about reality. The reality is you fell in love with another woman. The reality is I realized our marriage hasn't made me happy for a long time, and you realized that after you met her. I realized it because meeting her reminded me what it feels like to be alive. So you want a divorce? I want us both to be happy. And you think I'd be happier divorced? You'd be happier with someone who truly loves you. And you don't love me? I do, Becca, but not the way you deserve to be loved." "What do you mean?" "I love you with affection, respect, and gratitude for all the years we've shared. But I don't love you with passion." "And you love her with passion?" "She makes me feel things I haven't felt in years. So that's it. 15 years of marriage for a childhood crush. Becca, it's not about a crush. It's about realizing I deserve happiness, and so do you. I am happy with you." "Are you sure?" Rebecca stayed silent for a moment. "I was happy, until she showed up. She didn't do anything wrong, Becca. Her existence is wrong. Why? Because she's everything I'm not." "What do you mean?" "She's natural, spontaneous, genuine. I'm calculating, opportunistic, shallow." "You're not opportunistic or shallow." "Yes, I am, Mike, and you know it." "Becca, let me finish. I married you because you were climbing the career ladder, because I thought we'd have a comfortable life. And we did. We did. But we didn't have real love. We had companionship. Companionship isn't enough when someone comes along who sparks passion." "What are you saying?" "I'm saying maybe you're right. Maybe we both deserve more than this. Would you agree to a divorce?" "I would, but on one condition." "What?" "That you're honest about your feelings for her." "What do you mean?" "Don't use our divorce as an excuse to be with her. If you truly care about her, own it. If not, leave her alone." "What if she doesn't want to be with me?" "Then you'll find out if you're leaving for her or for yourself." The conversation lasted into the early hours. They decided to separate amicably, splitting their assets down the middle. Rebecca would keep the apartment and Mike would look for another place. "One thing I ask," Rebecca said before going to bed. "What?" "Don't let my brother destroy the company. He's up to something." "What kind of thing?" "I'm not sure, but he's been overly confident lately." "I'll keep an eye out." "And Mike?" "Yes?" "She's a good person. If you end up together, treat her well." "Thank you, Becca." "You're welcome. And I'm sorry for being so harsh with her. I was afraid of losing you." "You didn't lose me. Our relationship just changed." The next day, Mike went to see Jennifer to tell her about the conversation with Rebecca. "You're getting divorced." "Yes, amicably. Because of me. Because of us. We realized we haven't been happy for a long time. Mike, I hope you're not doing this thinking I'll be with you." "Why wouldn't you?" "Because I have 2 kids, no money, no home. And I have enough money for both of us. I can buy a house. I adore your kids." "It's not that simple." "Why not?" "Because people will say you left your wife for your mistress. And they'll be wrong. But they'll say it anyway. Jen, I care about what you think, not what people say. What if things don't work out between us? What if they do? Mike, I'm scared." "Scared of what?" "Scared of ruining everything again. My first marriage was a disaster. My finances were a disaster. I don't want your life to become a disaster too." "Jen, my life was already a disaster. An organized disaster, but a disaster all the same." "What do you mean?" "I had money, status, success, but I had no purpose, no passion, No reason to wake up every day other than obligation. And now you do. Now I have you, and your kids, and the chance to build a real family. A family? If you want, if they want. Jennifer grew thoughtful. I need to talk to them first. Of course. And I need to be sure this is really what you want. I'm sure. How can you be so sure so quickly? Because it's not quick, Jen. It's a certainty I've had since I was 12. That night, Jennifer talked to Emily and Ethan about the possibility of living with Michael. Would he be our dad? Ethan asked. He'd be a stepfather, someone who'd care for you like his own. And we'd have a real house? Emily asked. We would. With our own rooms? With your own rooms. And Uncle Mike would live with us? He would. I like him, Ethan said. He's nice. He paid for the hospital when you were sick, Emily reminded him, and he never got mad at us. So, would you like him to live with us? Yes, they chimed together. But you have to understand, it would be a big change. You'd have to share Mom's attention with him. But would he give us attention too, Emily asked. He would, a lot. Then it's okay, the girl said with a smile. On Monday, Jennifer returned to the company. Michael had insisted she stay until they settled things for good. I talked to the kids, she said. What did they say? That they like you. That they want to live with us. And you? I want it too. Michael stood and hugged her. Are you sure? I'm scared, but I'm sure. What are you scared of? Of not being enough for you. Of not making you happy. Jen, you already make me happy. Just by existing. What if your friends don't accept me? Then they're not my friends. What if your family doesn't accept me? My family is you and the kids now. They were kissing when Richard walked into the room without knocking. Sorry to interrupt the romance, he said sarcastically. Michael and Jennifer quickly pulled apart. Richard, you could knock. I could, but I didn't want to. I wanted to see it with my own eyes. See what? What everyone already knew. That you're having an affair. We're not having an affair. Of course not. That's why you were kissing in the middle of the workday. Richard, my personal life is none of your business. It is when it interferes with business. How does it interfere? You left my sister because of this woman. That affects the family, which affects the company. The company has nothing to do with this. It has everything to do with it. And that's why I'm calling an emergency partners meeting. For what? To discuss your competence to continue running the company. My competence has never been questioned. It is now, by me and other investors. What other investors? You'll find out at the meeting. Richard slammed the door on his way out. Michael looked worried. What can he do? Jennifer asked. Technically, he can push for my removal if he gets enough support. Could he? I don't know. It depends on how many people he's convinced. And if he succeeds, then I lose the company. Because of me. Not because of you, Jen. Because of his cruelty. Mike, maybe it's better if I leave town, go somewhere else with the kids. No way, I won't let you run away. It's not running, it's protecting. Protecting from what? From more trouble. Jen, if I lose the company, so be it. But I won't lose you again. You're sure about that? Absolutely. The partners' meeting was scheduled for the following Friday. During the week, Michael discovered that Richard had convinced two small investors to back him. Together, they held 45% of the company's shares. Michael had 55%. I still have the majority, he told Jennifer. But it's a slim margin. It's enough. What if he gets someone else on his side? He won't. On Friday, the meeting room was packed. Besides the partners, Richard had invited several key clients and suppliers. This meeting was called, Richard began, to discuss Mr. Michael Peterson's conduct as the head of this company. What conduct? Michael asked. You've been misusing company resources for personal gain. What resources? Expensive hospitals, hotels, gifts, all paid for with money that should have been reinvested in the company. That money came from my personal profits. Profits that should have been partially reinvested. They were, partially. The rest is mine to use as I please. Not when it damages the company's reputation. How does it damage our reputation? By fueling rumors, speculation, and distrust among employees and clients. One of the clients present stood up. "Mr. Peterson, is it true you're involved with an employee?" "My personal life isn't a professional matter." "It is when it affects our partnership." "How does it affect it?" "By creating instability in the company. We need reliable suppliers. And I've stopped being reliable because you're making decisions based on emotion, not reason." Michael realized he was losing control of the situation. "Gentlemen, my personal life doesn't interfere with my professional ability." "Of course it does," Richard said. "You fired competent employees to hire unqualified people." "I fired a prejudiced person and hired a competent one." "Competent? She doesn't even have a college degree." "Competence isn't measured only by diplomas. In reputable companies, it is." The argument dragged on for 2 hours. In the end, a vote was scheduled to decide whether Michael would remain as the company's president. "The vote will take place next Monday," Richard announced. "Each partner will have a vote proportional to their shares." "What about the employees?" Michael asked. "Employees aren't partners." "But they work here. They should have a say." "They should, but they don't." Michael left the meeting knowing his position was at risk. If he lost the vote, he'd lose not just the company, but also the main source of income to support Jennifer and the kids. That night, he couldn't sleep. He kept thinking about every possibility. If he lost the company, he'd still have his personal savings, but it wouldn't be enough to maintain the lifestyle he wanted for his new family. "What's on your mind?" Jennifer asked, lying beside him. "I'm thinking about what to do if I lose the company." "You won't lose it." "I might." "So what?" "What do you mean, so what?" "Mike, I didn't fall in love with your company. I fell in love with you. But without the company, I can't give you the life you deserve. The life we deserve is one with love, care, and respect. Money's important, but it's not the most important thing. Jen, you've struggled before. You know how hard it is to have nothing." "I do, but I also know how hard it is to have no love. You wouldn't care if I became poor. I'd care if you became unhappy." Michael kissed her tenderly. "How are you so wise?" "I'm not wise. I've just learned that material things can be lost any time. But what we feel for each other, no one can take that away." On Saturday, Michael got an unexpected call. It was from Amanda, the secretary of the finance department. "Mr. Michael, I need to speak with you urgently." "What's wrong, Amanda?" "It's about Mr. Richard. I found out something you need to know." "What is it?" "I'd rather not say over the phone. Can we meet?" They met at a cafe near the company. Amanda was nervous. "Mr. Michael, I shouldn't be doing this, but I can't stay silent." "What happened?" "Mr. Richard has been embezzling money from the company for over a year." "What do you mean?" "He created a shell company and is making fake contracts. Every month he transfers money to that company, as if it were payment for services." "Are you sure about this?" "I have the proof." Amanda showed a folder with documents. "He forced me to sign some papers saying it was your order, but when I realized you didn't know anything, I saw it was fraud." Michael examined the documents. It was indeed fraud. Richard had embezzled more than $200,000 in the last 12 months. Why would he do this? "I don't know, but I know he's trying to bring you down to cover his tracks." "Amanda, you saved my company." "I hope so, Mr. Michael. You've always been fair with me." "I'm promoting you. You deserve a better position." "Thank you, sir." On Monday, Michael arrived at the company ready for battle. He had the proof of Richard's fraud in his folder. The vote was scheduled for 10 in the morning. All the partners were present, along with some guests Richard had brought to intimidate Michael. "Before we begin the vote," Michael said, "I'd like to present some documents you should see." "What documents?" Richard asked. "Documents showing embezzlement from the company." "Embezzlement? By whom?" "By you, Richard." Silence fell over the room. "That's a serious accusation," said one of the junior partners. "It's a true accusation." Michael showed the documents. "Here's the proof that Richard created a shell company and embezzled over $200,000 in recent months." Richard turned pale. "That's a lie. It's a setup." A lie? Then explain these contracts, explain these transfers. I can explain, then explain. Richard tried to come up with an excuse, but the evidence was undeniable. Within half an hour, it was clear to everyone that he had committed fraud. The vote is cancelled, Michael announced. Richard is fired and will sue for embezzlement. You can't fire me, I'm a partner. You were a partner, now you're a thief. The meeting ended with Richard being escorted out of the building. The other partners apologized to Michael and promised their full support. How did you find out about the embezzlement? One of them asked. An honest employee warned me. Thank goodness there are still honest people in the world. Yes, thank goodness. That afternoon, Michael called all the employees for a general meeting. Everyone, I want to clear up some rumors that have been going around, he said. It's true that I'm separating from my wife. It's true that I'm dating Jennifer, but none of this affects your professionalism or mine. The employees stayed quiet. If anyone has a problem with this, you can come speak to me directly. I won't tolerate gossip or schemes. Several employees spoke up in support of Michael. Some admitted they had been influenced by Richard's rumors. Mr. Michael, said one of the managers, we've noticed Jennifer is a competent and honest person. If you're happy with her, we're happy too. Thank you, that means a lot. After the meeting, Michael looked for Jennifer. Is everything resolved? Yes. Richard is gone, the company is safe, and everyone knows about our situation. How did they react? Better than I expected. So now we can be together officially? We can. If you still want to. Of course I do, more than ever. Jen, there's something I want to ask you. What? Michael knelt in front of her and pulled a small box from his pocket. Jennifer Wilson Taylor, will you marry me? Jennifer began to cry. Mike, I know it's really fast, I know we still have a lot to figure out, but I also know I want to spend the rest of my life with you and the kids. What if it doesn't work out? What if it does? You always answer my questions with more questions. Because your questions are always about fear, and I want you to think about possibilities. Mike, I'll say yes, but on one condition. What? That it's a simple wedding, just us and the kids. Whatever you want. They married 3 months later in a small, intimate ceremony. Emily and Ethan were the ring bearers, and Jennifer looked radiant in a simple yet elegant dress. Promise you'll take good care of Mom? Emily asked Michael before the ceremony. I promise, and I promise I'll take good care of you both too. And we'll take good care of you, Ethan said. You already do. The wedding marked the beginning of a new life for everyone. Michael became a loving father to Emily and Ethan, who adored him from day one. Jennifer went back to school and finished her degree in education, becoming the company's educational coordinator, which now offered daycare for employees' children. You know the best part of all this, Michael said to Jennifer one evening as they watched the kids play in their new backyard. What? It's not that I changed your life, you changed mine. How so? You taught me that success isn't about having a lot of money. It's about having people you love who love you back. I learned that from you too. How? I learned we deserve to be happy, even when things are hard. And are we happy? Very. More than I ever thought possible. 2 years later, Jennifer gave birth to a baby girl they named Karen, an ironic nod to the former employee who had tried to keep them apart. Why that name? Emily asked. Because sometimes people who try to hurt us end up helping us without knowing, Michael explained. How? If Karen hadn't been so awful to Mom, I might not have realized how important you all are to me. So she was mean on purpose to help us? Ethan asked. No, she was mean because she was a mean person. But we turned her meanness into something good. How? By learning from it. We learned we never want to be like her. The company grew into one of the largest construction firms in the state. Michael created a social responsibility program to help underprivileged families find jobs and stable housing. You're doing for others what you did for me, Jennifer observed. I'm doing what I should have done a long time ago. Why didn't you before? Because I didn't know what truly mattered in life. And now you do? Now I know what matters is leaving the world a little better than we found it. And how do we do that? by taking care of the people we love and helping those in need. Emily and Ethan grew up in a loving, stable home. Emily became a pediatrician, inspired by her brother's hospital experience. Ethan became an engineer and joined his stepfather's company. "Daddy Mike," he said at graduation, "thank you for saving our family. You saved my life, Ethan." "How?" "You taught me what real love is." End of story. Now tell me what you thought of this story of love and resilience. Do you think Jennifer made the right choice accepting Michael's help? Would you also help a childhood friend in a situation like this? Share your thoughts in the comments and let us know where you're watching from. If you enjoyed the story, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss other heartwarming stories like this one.